Hey, Hey, how's the internet connection? Okay, Caitlin says, hey fam, I'm so ready for this. In my bathtub with a shitload of pink rose petals and salts, just living my best life. Okay, I like that. Where is Mel? Mel, are you in here? Bree says, I've never caught one of her live. And I'm so excited. I'm happy that you're here. Pauline says, hey, Jess, good to see you, my love. Let me turn the volume down because it is so loud. Oh, Mel's here. Wonderful. What up, girl? Okay, perfect. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I tried to look cute earlier today for you. I tried, and then I was sitting there, and I was just like, no. And I put on my Star Tribe hoodie. I had already had my necklace on, and I just was like, let's just have a chill night. There's too much going on right now for any of us to be worrying about what we're looking like. So I just wanted to let you know that I did try. On a scale of 1 to 10, I tried at like level 6.7. And then when I got to like level 6.75, I was like, you know what? We're good. So we put the hoodie back on. How many of you guys are actually rocking one of the hoodies, the Star Tribe hoodies, or one of the Goddess pendulums, or one of the 2 other necklaces? There was a crystal, and then there was a moonstone. Yeah, Tasha is here, and she said there is too much going on. Yo, I feel that. Northern Belle says, yes for the chill vibes, Jess, LOL. Lottie, or Lady Mandas, says, you look good, girl. Well, thank you, boo. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's too much going on. It's already started. It's been in the works. We've been talking about it for a minute. I've been talking about it for a minute. Do you guys remember? Michelle says, I got my hoodie. Good. Millie says, I got both, girl. Good. I'm so happy to see that. Me too. It's so funny because like on a day-to-day basis, I get to decide, like I had the luxury to have all 3 of the necklaces. So I had to decide like which one am I vibing with today? Like, do I need the energy of the moonstone right now? Do I need the energy of the quartz, like the clear quartz? Or I've actually been using this goddess pendant as a tool. I've been using it as a pendulum. So let's say if I have like tarot, or let's say I go to the grocery store, you can like hold this over your fruit and help you to decide what fruit you're going to get. Or you can use it to balance your chakras or see where your chakras are at so that you can balance them yourself. Oh my God. So, but like every day I have to decide like which one of these am I gravitating towards? And it can get really tough for me. Anyways, Amina says, my necklace didn't come. I wonder if you're international. My international packages, the lingering ones of my international orders are here. So if you haven't received yours yet, or if you had any problems with receiving it, I packed up everything by myself. I don't usually ship out things and wrap things up. So I just do all the creation. If you see me pausing, it's because I'm fighting a burp right now. Just TMI. I'm sorry. I was so hungry. But you guys, listen, we have so much that we need to talk about. And before we get into that, before we dive into this, I just want to go back. Okay. This is where you really want to trust your vibes. You want to trust your energy. You want to trust what your spirit guides are telling you, what your intuition is telling you. Remember in 2019, when everyone is saying at the very end of 2019, 2020 is coming. This is my year. And this is what I'm going to do with this year. This is what this year is going to be about. And then 2020 hits, and, you know, we're all kind of sitting in our caves. We're all kind of in our caves just dwelling, right? Just kind of whittling wood to make fire for ourselves right now. Just trying to do what we can in order to get by. And this is why, you guys, I want to start off by saying this. It is so important. It is so imperative that you always listen to your intuition. I truly believe that if the majority of us took the time out, and we sat with ourselves, if we really sat with ourselves in meditation and we got a vibe of everything that's going on around us and everything that's going on within us, we would know exactly what to expect. There wouldn't be any surprises. There wouldn't be any memes circulating, kind of making promises that aren't going to get fulfilled. We would know in our energy, we would know in our spirits exactly, okay, this is a year where This is what this year is going to be for me. And I'm starting off by saying this. We have 816 people in here right now. I'm starting off with our Astro Chat Live, starting off by saying this because, you know, the rest of the world is going to tell you a lot of different things. But the point of Astro Chat Live is to connect with your intuition, your feelings above all, right? If you're listening to me right now and you're preparing for your week ahead, and it's not just your week ahead that we're going to be talking about tonight, it's going to be for the rest of this year. It's going to be for the rest of this year and the year to come. That's how deep this energy is. That's how impactful and meaningful these changes are. Every single one of us, no matter what your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon, your Venus, your Mars, and it doesn't matter. No matter what your planets, how your planets are situated, it will impact you on a personal level. There's no way that any one of us is going to be missed. Even if you're sitting in your cave, even if you've completely isolated yourself from the rest of the world, even if everything seems really like positive or good, it's not that it's going to, it just doesn't skim over anyone. That doesn't mean that you're going to have, it doesn't mean that you're going to have complications. It doesn't mean that your world is going to crumble as you know it, but there's going to be aspects of your life that are going to crumble. And what I want you guys to do today is tonight, is to use this Astro Chat Live to listen to me, to take notes, so that when it happens, this is something I've been talking about all this year, all 2019, and I was talking about it before in like 2020, 2017, 2018. This is not new energy. This has been building up for a long time. But as I'm talking about it, I want you guys to connect with your energy, your vibes, first and foremost. I'm going to be saying a lot of stuff. But what I really want you guys to do is to pull from your own source. The reality is that no one, no matter how much of a guru, no matter how much we've been studying the tarot, no matter how much we've been studying astrology, no one trumps your intuition. No one trumps what the divine and what your chart has situated for you. So when I talk and when I'm telling you certain things, pay attention to the visualizations that come into your head. Pay attention to the comments, the things, meaning like the comments that you're hearing in your head. Try to do your best to avoid outside comments. I can look at that. Of course, you know, I'll respond to you guys when I can, but for the most part, I try to stay focused. But listen and pay attention to what's going on in your mind. Pay attention to what's going on in your spirit. When I say something and I say that it could be a breakthrough moment for you and your energy, you feel your body tense up, it is 1000% a sign. What I don't want you guys to do is to look for numbers and actively look for things. If your eyes naturally are drawn to something and you see a number, yes, it's a sign. Yes, it's synchronicity. Yes, it's something manifesting. Don't question it. Just sit with it. Observe it. This is so important for me to say this because, number one, we are all entering into a space right now where the word that just came through to me is we're gifted individuals. There are highly gifted individuals that are emerging because of the pressure of what it is that we're going through now. The reason why it's so intense is because literally the world needs every single one of us. The world needs every single one of our gifts. No one gets left behind. And the only reason, if someone was to get left behind, they'll catch up eventually. But the only reason is because they were too stubborn. They were still so stuck in their ways that they would get left behind. They make themselves sick accidentally. That was something that I kept saying before, is that there's a lot of people who aren't going to make it through this time. And it's because they're so resistant and set in their ways. Right? It's very important that you guys listen to your intuition above everything, including above me. I appreciate and I love when you guys say that you respect me and you respect my work and you respect my visions and my prophecies. But more than anything, I want you to respect yourself and your visions and your prophecies and your feelings. And this Astro Chat Live, this time that is that we have together, is a time for you, a dedicated time. It's an hour that it is that we give to ourselves in order to reconnect back within ourselves, reconnect to ourselves, and then also ultimately maybe be sharing those gifts with the rest of each other. I want to invite you guys that if you get visions, if you get prophecies, this is a sacred space, right? I'm diving in like guns blazing right now. And I kind of skipped over my normal spiel, but this is a safe space. I set the intention that this is a safe space for everyone to share their gifts, for everyone to share their stories. You will not be met with judgment. Mel is here, Eric is here, but he's not on the Astro Chat Live. He's packing up some of the orders, the candles and stuff like that. But Mel is here, and I've already, a long time ago, told her exactly what it is that I expect, what it is that I allow, and what type of language and things that it is that are permissible, things that I will allow to be in place. So if she's literally there so that you guys can speak candidly, so that you guys can speak openly and honestly with me, with each other, right? She is there protecting this space so that we can have this space so that I can give my information, you guys can give your thoughts, and we can have this energy exchange. Without her, without Eric, we wouldn't have the protection that we needed in order to get this message across. That doesn't even include, just making videos about these types of things and how much my videos get demonetized. I probably just butchered that just by me sharing them, but it is what it is. The point of this this time is not to profit off of it. It's to share a message and to create a sacred space. Okay? So that being said, there's a few things I definitely allow the F-bomb. You're totally free. Mel's throwing up the peace signs, which is I love. But you're definitely free to drop the F-bomb. Wait, Net Roundtree says, is deja vu a sign? Absolutely. Deja vu is the strongest sign. I love deja vu. I should make a video about that. But if you do have an experience of deja vu, by all means, that is absolutely 6,000% a sign. You're allowed to drop the F-bomb. You're allowed to curse. The F-bomb is one of my favorite curse words, so I'm going to start off by saying that. However, if you're disrespectful to each other, if you're disrespectful to me, you will get blocked. You have too much to gain from... You have too much. Leah Butts is over here, and she's like, fuck, just trying it out. See, there you go. And Mel saw that, and she approved it. So that's perfect. Alexandria says, I'm fucking confused. And that's a valid feeling, Andrea. Alexandria. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that. Hopefully I'll be able to clear up any confusion that you're having, that you're experiencing. But outside of that, you guys can feel free to drop the F-bomb or anything else for the most part. Just make sure that you're being respectful. If I feel I don't like sexual comments towards me, that's just me. I know I'm cute, but I don't want to hear it. And I feel like other people wouldn't want to see it either. So I don't know, just be respectful with those types of things. That will really get you blocked really, really fast, okay? All right. So let's take a moment. Let's think about it all, right? So I'm just going to forewarn you. We have so many of the major planets. Let me pull the chart up. I have the chart pulled up. But we have so many planets right now that are retrograde. Well, the major one is Saturn. Saturn went retrograde today, right? And I know the internet drags the craziness out of Saturn, but Saturn is one of my favorite planets in the entire zodiac and in the entire our solar system. And the reason why is because, and this is information here, so go ahead and, wait, hold on. Real quick thing, don't be triggered, everyone in here. Be mindful of people's mental health. The planets are in major transitions. Okay, I feel you on that. We're going to be talking about, that's a good thing. I'm really glad that person, who was that, Christian Cam, said it. I think that it's valid for me to talk about how things that we say here can be triggering, okay? She's right in saying that we are dealing with some major transitions. We're dealing with major planets and major moments of transition right now. And that can be triggering for a lot of people. Not even mental health. If you have a natural sensitivity to mental health, I do as well, especially when it comes to depression and anxiety. These types of conversations, sometimes in some way, they can be triggering. My thing is what gives me a lot of strength, me personally, is what gives me a lot of strength and what I pride myself on is that I believe that, and it has proven itself over and over and over again. You guys I wish you guys could see my chart, but I believe that every time we have a challenge, anytime we have opposition, it is an opportunity for there to be growth always and forever. And no matter what it is that we talk about here, number one, this is a safe space. It is meant to be safe. It's meant to support you. But no matter what it is that we're talking about, I want you guys to approach it with gentleness towards yourself, gentleness towards each other, and gentleness to the world. Also, with gentleness goes hand in hand with compassion. And then also realize that the third thing is that everything is temporary, the highs and the lows. And I do not want to ever sugarcoat what is going on, what is it I'm seeing, because I believe that it's not healthy to lie. It's not healthy for me to only give you guys the icing and not give you the cake and not give you the meal. And that's what is that you can expect during these Astro Chat lives. But as you're going along, you have to, and I'm not sitting there with you, right? So you have to have a healthy level of discernment that if you do feel triggered, if you do feel like this conversation is too much, and I'll do my best to show you guys how even the most intense transits, and challenges can be used for your best, can be used in a way that, they're the building blocks for you, but you have to know for yourself when it's too much, when the conversation is too much, or when it becomes overwhelming, and you have full permission to click out, to revisit it, or whatever. Okay, so everyone has to use their discernment. All right, but for the most part, I do want to tell you guys full transparency. I understand 6,000%. I was literally just talking to Eric about that earlier today, that I have issues with depression. That's something that's been long lasting in my life. Anxiety a little less now, but it was astrology that really gave me that foundation, which is perfect for what is that we're talking about, this Capricorn energy and Saturn. It's astrology that gave me that backbone to fall on, to stand on. It was a constant, and it was something that allowed me to see that literally every cycle, even the worst cycles of our lives, the best cycles of our lives, they're temporary. And they're all there to move us from a space of love. The way to approach that and to embrace it is with compassion, gentleness, and realize that, again, everything is temporary, okay? So let me go ahead and dive in. So today, you guys should know this. Saturn just recently, I'm pulling the chart up on my phone because I'm using my MacBook in order to film. But Saturn went retrograde, right? Saturn has the worst reputation, but always Saturn has been one of my favorite planets. If you want to, I want you guys to look at Saturn as the father figure that is present in your life. If it's a positive father figure, or the father figure that you might not have had. And basically what this is Saturn can be really cold and stern, but the only reason why that is because Saturn takes you seriously. Saturn takes everything that it touches very seriously. Sometimes when we're jovial, when we're playing all the time, when we're working with Jupiter energy or Mercury energy or the sun, the energy of the sun, or even the moon, sometimes we embrace that faster, but we don't realize that Saturn is there protecting us. So what I want you guys to do is, instead of demonizing Saturn, I want you guys to look at it as this is support, this is protection, this is structure, this is stability, this is here for your needs to be met. This is for if we have kind of like what we have now, this Astro Chat Live, right? But we have Mel. Mel is that Saturn influence right now that is orbiting around, making sure that anything that's negative, anything that's toxic, anything that's draining, anything that doesn't serve you, that doesn't serve us, gets wiped out, right? And that's also the energy of Pluto. So what I want you guys to do is embrace the energy of Saturn here. Embrace the energy of and it's not just, Saturn going retrograde is one thing, but it impacts us more than it normally would because we have all of these major planets that have been going through Saturn for a minute, right? We've been seeing this in our government. We've been seeing this in businesses being broken down, relationships getting broken down. There's aspects, if you want to talk about mental health, Mel, if anybody has any questions like that, Mel, one of the best ways to handle that is by having emails sent to, keep announcing that the email should be sent to info@Bahati Life, okay? But yeah, what was I saying? So I try to stay focused, but it can be really hard because I'm ruled by Mercury, and my Mercury is like all the time. But yeah, no, Saturn, it creates this space of protection. It creates a space of whatever it is that I have on my list. This is Saturn talking, not me. Whatever it is that's on my list, I'm going to go through it and cross it off. And if it's not up to par, if it doesn't meet the standard for your life, it's in violation. So Saturn will say, this father figure, this masculine energy will come through this one side of this masculine energy. Because something that I've starting to see is how God, the divine, kind of manifests itself in these different types of energies that unfolded within our lives. And Saturn is this cold, more emotionally removed, but very serious, very, very stabilizing source within our lives that every single one of us needs, right? So Saturn says that if it doesn't cross this list, if it doesn't meet this standard, it's in violation. Speaking of mental health, like I was saying, let's say you have Saturn in your personal chart is aspecting your personal planets in a way that creates conflict, tension, and anxiety, depression, whatever it is, right? These are some things that Saturn says, listen, we want you to revisit this. I want you to revisit this, okay? We don't want you to fall victim to it. We don't want you to be crushed by it, but we want you to learn how to enforce healthier boundaries so that the same things that used to get under your skin, the same things that would make you plummet, the same things that would make you feel powerless, the same things that would make you lose your faith in the universe and lose your faith in yourself, I will not allow them to come close and touch you anymore. Not mentally, not physically, not emotionally, not spiritually. It's draining to you. It takes your power from you, and I simply will not allow it. And this, why? Why is this? Because Saturn, I believe, is in Aquarius right now. I've been pulling charts. Oh, yeah. Saturn is in Aquarius, right? So this is all about new type of innovative energy. It's all about doing what hasn't been done before and getting used to this weirdness, getting used to this oddness. Even now, as we're saying this, Saturn was moving through the sign of Capricorn and totally dismantling government, politics, businesses, health organizations, establishment, and how we treated our earth and how we treated ourselves and our healthy boundaries, right? Or our unhealthy boundaries. Once Saturn dismantled all of that and we started seeing this breakdown of our government and our politics, it then moved into innovating it. It then moved into, okay, now let's switch into a different type of leadership. Now let's shift into a different type of focus. And this is not only in our world, in our external environment. I don't want to even talk about the news right now. I mean, you guys have pretty much, Negulele says, isn't Saturn just about to go retrograde? Saturn just went retrograde today, actually. But now that all that has happened to the ways of the old, now everyone's saying this is the new world. Why? Because Aquarius, it's ruled by Aquarius energy. This is how our structure of our life and how our life looks is getting totally innovative in a way that we have to be so open to seeing this in a new way, a new light, a new life that is light years ahead of us here now in the present, right? So while Saturn was moving through, Capricorn, we were learning, everyone was talking about boundaries. Why? Not because, as above, so below. So that was the message of what Saturn was bringing, is that you have to reinforce your personal boundaries. You have to know that certain things can't touch you anymore. Certain things shouldn't have access to you. There's certain rules and certain ways and certain generational curses that have access to you, that have been important to you, that have been ingrained in your upbringing and the I don't want to say genetic makeup, but how you know yourself to be and how this is just the way that it is. Saturn says, yeah, maybe, but that doesn't make it okay. And for your protection, for your safety and protection, I'm going to pull you out of it. I'm going to dismantle this old way. Now that Saturn is retrograde, it takes these steps back, right? I don't even want to say that it's a step back. It's like a slow, steady slide back into the realms of Capricorn energy once again. So the rest of the world is going to say, Juwela says, isn't there like 3 retrogrades happening this month? Yes, my love, but I'm going through them one at a time. Shia says 3 are happening this week alone. That's absolutely true, but I'm not going to just come in and give you guys half-ass energy. I'm giving you guys everything. A lot of you guys are taking notes, and I want you guys to take good notes, okay? So yeah, there's a lot of retrograde planets that are happening this week. Pluto is retrograde. That's been retrograde since April. Saturn, Venus, and Jupiter. Okay, so just for those of you guys that need it. April's saying it's for purging. Saturn is not necessarily for purging. That's more Pluto's energy that's already happened around April 25th. But Saturn is sliding back and says, listen, on a global level, we're going to see issues with our leadership. We're going to see issues of like what's good for me is good for you. What's good for you is good for me. It's this connection to everybody. It's this connection to this greater whole. Okay, it's all about humanity. So we're gonna start seeing those steps back. But on a more personal level, you guys, you're gonna have to revisit in the next coming months, seeing what doesn't need to have access to you anymore. Seeing that your ways of your work, your ways of your purpose, the ways of the gifts that is that you put out into the world, the things that is that you are mastering, the things that is that you're dedicated to, you're going to revisit it. Jasmine says, that sounds absolutely lovely. Thank you, Jasmine. It is. If you are a person who wants to steam engine your way through things, outside of the fact that Mars is going to be moving to the sign of Pisces on the 13th. What's today's date? I don't even know what day it is. On Wednesday. Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Pisces. Mars is our action. Mars is our fire. Mars is our ambition. It's our drive. It's our fuel. It's our fire. Moving to the sign of Pisces, just no way. Get out of your head this idea that in order to move forward, you have to constantly be moving. Let me say that one more time. Get it out of your head that in order for you to move forward, for you to progress, you have to constantly be moving. So many of you guys have to get used to this idea that sometimes taking a breather, taking a stop right here, right now, and reassessing. Sometimes your play is very productive. Sometimes play is very healing. Some of you guys have been neglecting your sleep. Some of you guys have been overindulging in certain aspects of your life. There's that idea of balance, right? We have Libra rules balance, but it's more than that. When we see planets like this, you guys, it's not just one aspect of the chart that as I look at the entire chart. The entire chart is telling a story. It's not just Libra energy. Libra right now is currently empty, but for the most part, when we see planets like this that are coming through and swinging this huge sledgehammer on the world as we know it, that means that so many of us are spinning out. So that means that the ground underneath us is falling. That means that we're disoriented. We're losing our way. Our focus might be off. The thing that will ground you and the thing that will help you is you have to have balance. You have to come back to a space of balance, right? So now, when coronavirus hit or when self-isolation hit, everyone, the rest of the world kind of starts to crumble, right? Why does it crumble? Well, because Saturn's moving through the sign of Aquarius. Right? Aquarius is all about humanity. It's all about what goes on over there impacts us over here. What goes over here impacts us over there. All of us are crumbling. We're in this together. And we need leadership. We need structure. We need stability to support all of us collectively because one can't move forward without the other. We all have to do it together. And that's a major lesson that this Saturn transit is going to teaching us right now. That's something that a lot of us spiritual, highly gifted highly gifted individuals, like I said in the very beginning, this is the time of gifted people. In my heart of heart, I believe that every single human being born in this earth is gifted to infinity and beyond. But it's a matter of embracing your gifts. It's a matter of being comfortable with them. It's a matter of a community supporting you. There's going to be more pods, more groups like this supporting each other. The internet helps us a lot. Social media helps us a lot. Okay? Anyways, so when Saturn is, starts to move retrograde, the world starts to collapse, right? All we have is the internet. All this stress and this pressure is on the internet, right? And what happens is, hold on, wait, I'm getting distracted. Megan says sometimes it's difficult to see if my anxiety is telling me to wait or if it's holding me back. The best thing to do is to pause and to meditate, right? So as the world is kind of like stuck in isolation and things are starting to crumble, there's one aspect of it where a lot of us we're constantly in this, okay, I'm going to be productive. I'm going to produce. I'm going to do this. And then we start to fall. We start to falter. We just simply can't keep up with that. So then the opposite side of that is doing absolutely nothing. And that's sleeping. That's whatever the case is for you. Maybe it's a lot of people have returned back to their old vices, Some people were, have issues. There's trigger alert, but some of you guys have issues like certain vices, certain things, maybe with drinking or whatever it is. And for everyone, it's different. It's really easy during this time to fall back on that because that's our old normal. That was your old normal. That was what you were used to. That's what gave you comfort. But Saturn says that just because that's what your crutch at that time doesn't mean that that is healthy and that's going to help all of us. We want you to go through the thickness of this. Do your best to go through the thickness of this, but don't do it alone, right? How is it that during this time, Saturn exiting out of Capricorn, so we see the breakdown of businesses, we see the breakdown of hospitals, we see the breakdown of organizations. Saturn moves into Aquarius, the sign that rules social media and the internet and our ability to connect with each other. How is it that the government, we saw it break down when Saturn was Saturn was breaking down the energy of it, when it was in Capricorn with businesses and that type of stuff, and then it moves into a space. Saturn isolates, but in that isolation, you find community. Usually, it's not the people in your neighborhoods. It's the internet. It's the rest of the world. You'll find how much you have in common with people you've never met, people you never would have seen because of your isolation. Why is that? Because Saturn currently is moving to the sign of Aquarius. Doesn't this make sense? You guys give me a thumbs up if this makes sense. Throw a heart down in the comments if it makes sense. It makes perfect sense to me, but sometimes I race. Sometimes I jump ahead of myself, my thoughts and stuff like that, races, right? But during this time, it's really important, you guys, that you observe, that you be compassionate, that you be gentle with yourself. It's okay for you to sleep. It's okay for you to rest. I was doing it myself as well. I realized that I need to take a break. Coincidentally, okay, I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up. I'm seeing a lot of hearts. I love that. Okay, you guys are definitely feeling that. Absolutely. Things like house party are being introduced. Zoom meetings were introduced. All of these ways of moving business onto the internet. Who said that? I said that. I said that I want to say like a year ago. Saturn moves business. It rules structure onto the internet when it moves into the sign of Aquarius, because Aquarius rules the internet. When did Zoom meetings and all those things, those online ways of communicating, when did they start taking off? Right after Saturn moved into the sign of Aquarius, right? But that's on a more higher level. But on a personal level, you guys, you have to realize that you have to be very compassionate and gentle with yourself, because this is new energy. So you're going to need coping mechanisms, but don't let them be the things that were toxic to you. That means don't text your ex. That means if, online dating isn't your forte or something that you would never consider, maybe now's the time to consider. Maybe there's this idea of productivity, this way of being efficient. Maybe you got to slow it down. Maybe you got to do things differently. Let's say the way that you're eating during this time of quarantine, your productivity could probably change into how you take care of your body, right? So you're spending now more time making better quality meals. You're spending more time doing research on making better food, changing your diet. So yes, there could be that aspect of sleeping, but there's this sense of your productivity, how you move, how you operate, your purpose. Sometimes it's not your work. Sometimes it's how you take care of yourself, how you take care of your community, how you take care of your mind, your body, right? So literally, like you're even though you might be sleeping, even though you might be more confined, use that time very wisely. Now, as I'm saying this, I know that this can be tough for some of you guys to hear, right? Currently on the internet, and I fully support this, are a lot of people saying like, this is weird times, right? Everybody handles these things totally different. And I 6,000% believe that. Some days we are really high. The next days we have really low. It's like we're all on this roller coaster. And I said that years ago. I literally said a roller coaster. But the way to deal with it is to not measure yourself to this old way. None of us should be doing that, no matter how successful, no matter how unsuccessful it is. You cannot measure yourself to this old way. I really appreciate these super chats, you guys. I really do. I'm seeing them. I'm going to read them later, I promise. You cannot measure yourself to this old way of doing things. Your new life, you literally, like I was saying, like you have to have balance. So maybe instead of you making millions, but eating out all the time and not being able to take time to slow down, to spend time with your friends, or you're constantly going to restaurants. Now, during this quarantine time, you might find yourself in the kitchen, and this is a new way of living. This is a new part of your purpose, is taking better care of your body, having quality ingredients that give your body life and energy, and having more balance so that you can actually, slow down and savor this life, literally and figuratively. So everyone is so different, right? So I understand that some of you guys are swinging from one end of the spectrum to the other, the opposite side of the spectrum. 1 minute you can go from being really needing sleep, needing a lot of things to build your energy up. Maybe it's taking naps that gets you super creative, but try your best to get into this new wave and the way of new normal. Everyone's normal is going to look so different. It's going to be so different. Why? Because Saturn, which rules our like our structure, what we fall back on, is moving to the sign of Aquarius, now retrograde. So we have this opportunity now. Why am I saying all this? Because now Saturn is retrograde, so we're going to take steps back. Now's the time to revisit. Now's the time to reconnect again and just be like, okay, this new life, like this new routine, how is this working? Let me just check in with myself. This is not an invitation for you to judge yourself. This is not an invitation for you to criticize yourself, but it's a moment to check in with your current progress. Before you go any further, no one should be moving forward into the future. All of us are moving back. All of us are taking steps back. Now that goes back to what it was that I was saying before. Wait, hold on, Miss Tina says, what site is just pulling the charts from? Anyone know? I know, it's astro.com. Astro, A-S-T as in tiger, R-O.com. Okay, but no one, like, it was going back to what it was I was saying at the beginning, is that get out of your head that in order for you to move forward, you have to constantly be progressing in one direction, which is straight ahead. Sometimes you moving forward means stopping, taking a deep breath, reassessing. For those of you guys that are in the Sacred Circle, my Sacred Circle Tarot School, my online community, 7 of Pentacles it. For those of you guys that have been looking at or studying the tarot, 7 of Pentacles it. This is that moment where you take a step back. 7 is the number of divinity. 7 is the number of God. It's the number of almost perfection, like literal perfection. And it's that moment where you take that deep breath, and that deep breath is everything. Why? Because it connects you with source. And in that moment, you can reassess and reevaluate everything before you receive the sign, the signal, this divine clarity, this divine confirmation of what is that you're actively manifesting. Pentacles is Earth, by the way. For those of you guys that don't know, we talk about this again in the Sacred Circle Tarot School. But yeah, Pentacles is Earth energy. So it's about things that are here manifesting, but it's also connected to the divine. Okay? So that's something that you guys could look out for. Now let's talk about Venus. We spent all this time talking about Saturn, and why? Because it's very important. It's very important. Why is it so important? Because the energy of the planets has been moving through Capricorn since like 2 years now. Longer than that with Pluto. So and why is that? Saturn rules Capricorn. So this bleeds into all areas of our life. None of us are not seen. Like none of it is skipped over. None of it is skimmed over. The next thing is Venus. Venus rules what we can touch. It rules beauty. It rules aesthetic. It rules jewelry. It's what we're attracted to. I already said aesthetic. Love, relationship, romance, right? When Venus starts to go retrograde, when it starts to revert, like go back in a sign of Gemini, let me pull the chart up. This is when, legit, you guys, everything, relationships, I just want to give you guys a disclaimer. This is when the relationships that have been building up in this pressure point that has been happening for a long time. This is not coronavirus. Some of you guys are going to be like, coronavirus killed my relationship. No, coronavirus was the trigger to reveal issues that have been killing your relationship for quite some time. Long time before coronavirus. Coronavirus is only an irritant. Don't point fingers at the coronavirus. Don't point fingers at the rest of the world. This is issues. Coronavirus is only an irritant to a larger issue that's probably been under the radar for quite some time. So when Venus goes retrograde, especially during this time, why? Some of you guys will say and demonize Venus retrograde. And you'll be like, well, Venus retrograde broke down my relationship. Technically, no, it didn't. Saturn broke down your relationship. Pluto broke down your relationship. But the relationship was broken, right? So maybe it's not your relationship. Well, and then Venus was only the trigger to that, because Saturn and Pluto have been working actively over years. This is stuff that's been going on for years. For those of you guys that are single, you'll be like, well, Jess, I don't have a relationship. This skips over me. How are you dating? What's your dating life looking like? What are the type of people that is it you're dating? Who are you attracted to? Why am I using the word attracted? Because Venus is, what is Venus? Venus is the sign of attraction. So it's, what am I pulled towards? What do I like? What do I think is pleasing to me? What is it that when I see it, I should say no to it, but something about that just turned me on? Let's have that conversation. Who wants to talk about that? That's what we really need to be talking about, right? Janelle Graham says, you better preach, sis. Come on. Right. Idol Mafat, I'm sorry, says, I've been single for 4 years now. This is even more issue. Watch, you're going to walk out of a relationship because of this energy of Venus retrograde. It's not just Venus retrograde, you guys. You should know this about me by now, that it's not just the aspects, it's the entire chart that I'm looking at. Okay, so what I don't want is for you guys to, during this time, for you to look back and be like, Venus retrograde, I'm going to look at Venus retrograde moving forward as the thing that broke my relationship. No, the foundation of the relationship hasn't been solid. The foundation of how you were dating was not solid. The foundation of what it was that you were attracted to was not healthy for you. It was not conducive to you. It was not supportive of you. It wasn't stable for you. You were constantly inviting in irrational, toxic, draining, emotionally manipulative people, narcissistic people who are only concerned about themselves, people who are only concerned about their ego. Saturn and Pluto will not allow it. Pluto is the planet, I'm going to talk about this, but Pluto was retrograde since April 25th, I believe. I have a lot of numbers and dates in my head, and I can't even tell you what day it is today. I'm an astrologer. I'm not a calendar. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and on top of that, I suck at math. Not that we're talking about math, but I suck at math, right? But anyways, so Pluto rules rebirth, it rules purging, it rules cleansing. Someone talked about that earlier. It's not Saturn that does the purging. Saturn does destroy, though. So does Pluto. Pluto will also destroy. But it comes in with a sledgehammer and it slowly breaks it down over time. Pluto does this exact same thing, right? So when we have Pluto revealing death and transformation and regeneration, it's because, and from a deeper level, from a deeper soul level, right? Saturn is working to protect that. Pluto says, let's dive into it, right? And Venus says, what are we attracted to? Do you see the intensity of the energy that we're dealing with? All of this is what it is that I'm saying, is to help you to not think about the future. It's to look at how far you've come. It's to look at this moment right now, not to criticize yourself. You guys, we're not doing that anymore. We left that shit back in 2016. We left that criticizing energy back in 2017. It's 2018, 2019, 2020 was all about self-realization. It's all about being compassionate with yourself. It's all about being kind and considerate to yourself and to each other, moving from a space of higher love, right? So in this moment, definitely on the 13th, this is when you look at it and you just say, you know what? This is what I like about my partner. This is what I like about myself. This is what I'm drawn to. This is what I'm attracted to. How has this been serving me? And if you are like me, someone who is always open to the lessons of the universe, someone who's always open to the lessons of the divine, you can have a conversation with your spirit guides, with the planets, with the divine, God, whoever it is that you want to call it, God, goddess, whoever, and say, this is how I've been doing things. This is my experiences up until this point thus far. It's not just relationships, it's also money. It's where you put the things that are valuable to you. Some of you guys, you have to change how you dress. Some of you guys, the way that what you have inside of you, this sounds very superficial, but this is Venus energy. And sometimes in the spirituality community, we have a tough time talking about superficial things. Things that we're like, well, I'm a spiritual being, so I shouldn't be so concerned with my appearance. I shouldn't be wearing makeup. I have to do, all of those are rules. We literally are taking the pin out. I've been saying this for years. You pop the pin the grenade and you throw it. The ways of the old, those rules, those regulations, they don't serve you. They didn't serve anyone. They created more obstacles. They created more barriers. They created more, that's you, that's me, we're different. No, you're allowed to want to look beautiful and feel beautiful. This is a time, starting on the 13th, you guys can ask yourself this. What is it that makes me feel confident? How am I feeling inside? I want it to reflect. Oh, look, DJ Allie's here. I love you, girl. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the super chat. How it is that I'm feeling inside? I want it to reflect on my external. I want to invest in myself. It's okay for you to spend money. It's okay for you to do research before you spend money on yourself. It's okay for you to get a new look. It doesn't have to be expensive. Whatever it is that is comfortable for you, you want to look at your Venus in your personal chart and see. My Venus is in Libra. So I love beautiful things. I love, I as a Virgo, this is an honest moment. I'm being so transparent with you guys. I grew up feeling very, I grew up feeling like spending money, like spending a lot of money on one thing is bad. Having nice things is not okay. And it's just because it's like, well, I could put that money elsewhere. I could put that in more practical matters. But if you look at my chart, and if I looked at myself, I realized my Venus is in Libra. Libra loves Venus and Libra energy loves beauty. It loves aesthetics. It loves skincare. It loves makeup. It loves nice things. And it took me a long time, an act of self-love. Even to this day, I work on it with myself to say, Jess, you like this. Girl, you like this. That's okay. Get it. Get it because you like it, because it makes you happy. Spiritual people, you guys are starving yourselves. A lot of you guys are starving yourselves because you say, oh no, I shouldn't do that. Who said that? Who told you that you couldn't? Who told you? God created, the divine created flowers and so many different flowers, so many different types of beautiful things on this planet. And that beauty trickles over into everything else. So if you like it and you love it, then it should be yours and you should have no guilt towards it, right? That's another thing too, is this idea of, did I work hard enough to deserve it? That's the thing, is like when you were born into this earth, and I want every single one of you guys to hear this, right? If you don't take anything from this chat, I want you to take this. You are born into this earth deserving all of the desires of your heart, right? Some of those things are lighter in energy, meaning that they're not that serious. Some of them, it could be a bag, it could be a car, it could be earrings, it could be a diamond ring. There's something that is that you specifically want that seems superficial level, but it means something to you. It's valuable to you. And it's something that you've been keeping your eyes on for maybe your entire life. And that's something that it is okay for you to ask the universe for, especially during Venus retrograde time. Now, is this the best time to make that purchase? No. As your astrologer and as an intuitive and as someone who is 32 years old, and I still have the rest of my life to live, but I've been there and I've done that, most major purchases that you're making during this time, during Venus retrograde time, you might regret them, right? So let's say if you do decide, and I want to talk to you guys about this openly, honestly, and candidly, let's say you do decide that you want to get a car, you want to get a house, you want to get a Chanel bag, you want to get a new collar for your dog or your cat or whatever. The choice that you make during the Venus retrograde time, you're gonna, when it goes direct, you're gonna be like, why did I choose fluorescent pink? I don't even know what I was thinking. I was thinking outside of the box, and I put all this money, even if it's $2 or $6,000 for a dog collar. I wouldn't pay that, me personally, but to each their own, because I'm sure there's something I would put that money in elsewhere that you guys would be like, what the hell, right? But whatever it is, you look at it afterwards and you're like, why did I choose fluorescent pink? Like, I should have gotten a lavender. That's the buyer's remorse. But the way that you can use this time, the Venus retrograde time, is to sell some of your stuff. If you have nice things, if you want to clear out your closet, if you want to reevaluate your appearance, that's an amazing thing that you can do during this quarantine time. And even though it seems superficial level, you can say to yourself, you know what, how I present myself to the world and how I adorn myself, how I dress myself, this is going to help me to attract the things that I want to attract. This is going to help me to feel confident. This is going to help me to feel the way that it is that I want to feel. And sometimes it does start from inside out, but sometimes it can start outside in. Okay? It is okay. I know the spirituality community, there's so many people that will be like, Jess, self-love has to come internally. Absolutely, but also balance. It is okay that sometimes you look at yourself and you say, when I put on this, or when I do this, or when I wear my hair this way, I do feel better about myself without being dragged, without being judged by anyone else or even yourself. I've been noticing that a lot on my personal Instagram, on Jessica X Alexandria. I made a joke one time about soulmate. Like, I thought it was so funny. Like, my sense of humor, outside of the fact that I'm pretty sarcastic, but I have a really dry sense of humor. And it was just like, where's my soulmate? Like, soulmate, come find me. Like, you know, or whatever. Like, I hate it here. It's a joke. But then people, like, they take things so seriously. And they're just like, well, you have to love yourself first. Well, duh. You don't think I don't love myself? Like, of course I love myself. And even if I wasn't actively loving myself, so it's a joke. In that moment, it's a joke. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to have fun. Okay? Like V is saying, balance is everything. Balance is everything. It is okay. It is okay. Don't take it too heavy, but realize that, you know, maybe this is a good time for you to kind of reevaluate some things, and how even the superficial things, how they do make a difference. They do make an impact. All right. Next thing. Oh my God. It gets harder for me to talk. Like, it's harder for me to do these live chats because my voice is like, girl, that is enough. That's why I stopped doing my videos so much. I pretty much only do the live chats now because making the videos is a lot. Have you guys noticed that people who sing and they talk on like the news and stuff, they have vocal coaches, but they have to have them because your voice will get like worn down. And I've been doing this thing lately. I don't know if you guys know, I'm going off on a tangent right now. Meanwhile, while I'm talking, you guys, go ahead and like this video. But I don't want to say that I manifested the coronavirus, because I didn't. Like, not that I manifested coronavirus, but it's not like I manifested self-isolation, you know what I mean? I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. But before all of this happened, I kept saying, like, I want to go on a retreat. Like, I really want to go on a retreat, but it's hard because my spirituality and my personal life are things that I share with you guys. Now, I don't share the intimate details of my personal life. Like, I'm not going to tell you who I'm dating or who I'm not dating, or where I get my legs waxed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go into those details, but, you know, my spirituality and my beliefs and my study, my work is a lot. And I share that with you guys. So it's hard for me to take a break from that. It's hard for me to take a vacation from that. And I kept saying, like, I really want to go on a retreat. Like, I didn't know if I wanted to go on a yoga retreat. And I said that 2020 was going to be the year of my retreat. Like, we're retreating. Are we not retreating? We're definitely retreating. Look at all the tea on the bottom of this. Tiptoe, tiptoe. Awkward. Okay, anyways. Okay, so my biggest thing that is I want to warn you guys, this is not just this is not any other time. Like, it's special time. It's the time that we're in right now that is so special and so unique. That is where this warning is coming from, and it's Jupiter retrograde. So currently right now, Jupiter is in a sign of Capricorn. No, it's not. It's in the sign of Aquarius. I had to double check myself. Wait a minute. It is in the sign of Capricorn. It's at the very last degrees of Capricorn. It's 27 degrees Capricorn, right? And on the 14th, it's going to start going retrograde again. Now, Jupiter is one of those planets that the internet loves to exalt because they're like, Jupiter is the planet of abundance and expansion and growth and material wealth and the guru and the philosophy and travel and all of those things sound really good. Yes, of course. But that's only one side of that coin. And that's only one side of how Jupiter can lend its energy. Sometimes expansion can not be good. Sometimes it means overindulging. Sometimes it can mean doing too much. Sometimes it could mean exponential growth of your business. Some of you guys are like, I've been praying. I've been setting intention for my business growth. I've been setting intention for boatload of money. I've been setting intention that I'm going to strike it big. I'm going to be a millionaire. And then you get there. And what's that dude's name with the tattoos on his face? Tekashi 69, right? Yeah. And now he gets himself in trouble. Now that he's famous with his gang-related activity, he got caught. I saw this on Instagram last night. He got caught taking a selfie on the back porch because wherever he goes, his persona is blown up. He's got fluorescent green hair, which I dig it. I like it. He's got tattoos on his face. He's wearing bright clothes, and it's very like loud. It's very like see me. And all of those millions, all of this persona, all of this energy that he's put out there is the same thing that's getting him in trouble. The same thing that's messing him up. And that's the same, I think Tekashi 69, am I saying his name correctly? I'm not one of these.
Yeah, 69.
Yeah. Are you checking it?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so he's a perfect example of Jupiter gone rogue. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it, but it's sometimes too much. Like, I'm not saying anything against his appearance. I personally like his appearance. I like that offness. I like the way this generation, I sound like an old ass woman right now. My inner old Virgo woman is coming out, like my inner spinster. But I love the way this generation is like, they're in this like, I don't care, kind of sloppy, kind of colorful, kind of baggy, kind of discombobulated. The only thing I don't like is the fact that they're very drugged out, like they numb themselves. And I think that that's such a huge issue. Like, anyways, but the same thing that makes Tekashi 69, who he is and was so cool, I guess, in the moment is the same thing that got him messed up. Dominica says, you're a millennial also, so am I? I feel like I'm right on the edge. Like, he's definitely younger than me, and I can't relate to that. If I am a millennial, I can't relate to that level of millennialism because I definitely am from an older soul. Like, I'm from this planet, but I'm like not from this planet. Like, I got all my past lives behind me. Anyways, I'm one of the elder millennials. Okay, we tap our way through with our basic, bland colors and just kind of thinking outside of the box hardcore. Anyways, so how old is he? We're totally derailed right now. But during Jupiter retrograde phase, it's really, really hyper important that you guys monitor your balance as much as possible. And this is because as things, especially during the retrogrades, you guys, and I just want to be honest, that now that these planets are retrograde and retrograding, you're going to start seeing more things popping up. You're going to start seeing more things getting revealed from the bottom of the lake, from the bottom of the pond. And this is going to be inconvenient for some people, meaning that it creates problems, it creates harm, it creates obstacles, it creates things that we might not be comfortable talking about, things that might scare us. And you don't want to look at it with fear. You just want to realize that, we knew this was going to come. We knew this was going to happen. And knowing that, again, we're going to be gentle, we're going to be compassionate with ourselves, and we're also going to realize that everything is temporary and it's definitely serving a better purpose. So there's nothing for us to be anxious about, but it's everything that we want to observe. That's the thing, too, about boundaries, is let people deal with their things, right? This includes health issues. And this includes our health care. So there's areas of your life where you should speak up for, especially when it comes to imbalance with our health care and access to health care and how we're treated when we actually go to the doctor, how certain groups and populations are treated better and taken more seriously. than others. Even if you do go to the doctor, even though if you do take care of yourself, there's issues of what is normal for us that need to be balanced out. There's issues that have been undergone, like under the surface for a long time. And those things start to reveal themselves. Know when it's your place to speak up, and know when it's your place to turn the TV off and allow that to pass. That's not your battle, and you got to move forward. The other thing is relationships, right? Venus retrograde has a wonderful tendency of bringing people back from the past. And when this happens, you guys have to really reevaluate all of where it is that you've come from, all of where it is that you've been, and all of where it is that you want to go. Remember 7 of Pentacles? This is that moment where you take a deep breath and you connect back with the divine and you say, before I allow this person to re-enter in my life, have they grown? Or is there something that they're trying to gain? Are they open to this level? This is where I'm at. I've transcended. I've been working on myself. What have you been doing? I'm not your ego boost. I would be your partner in crime. I would be your partner in this life. There's something about this isolation that has shown every single one of us who is really important and what type of relationships it is that you want in your life. Because to have a really strong community will make a person and a family strong forever, and that will pass on to generation. That's a community. Choosing the partners that you choose will help your business to grow, will help your health to grow, will help your family to grow, will help you have a support system. You have to be very mindful about who it is that you're partnering up with. Are they adding fuel to your fire in a way that is positive, or do they add fuel to your fire in a way that is destructive? And it's you that has to approach this and say, you know what? On this day, May 11th, 2020, at 8:03 p.m., now 8:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jess, me, and the rest of the Bahati Vibe tribe, we had this moment and we talked about it, and I knew that this was going to occur. I knew that this was going to happen. And instead of me getting tripped up by this, I'm going to say, here it is written right here in my notes. I'm going to check it off. And in this moment, I'm not going to get provoked by this. I'm not going to get anxious. I'm not going to get derailed. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to react. That was the ways of the old. This is who I am now. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to connect back with the divine. I'm going to ask myself what J777 says. What do you bring to the table? Which is repeating what it was that I just said, which is, what does this bring to the table? How does this make me feel? And from this, I'm going to make a decision. It doesn't have to be overnight. It doesn't have to be within a week. You could take months to make this decision. You're going to say, does this make me happy? Does this make me strong? Is this something that Saturn would want from me? I want you guys to really tap into the masculine energy of what Saturn gives to you guys. If you guys don't have that stability, if you guys don't feel like you're being protected, if you guys don't feel like your world is supporting you, or if you feel lost, if you feel confused, you can tap instantly into the energy of Saturn, instantly into that father figure, instantly into the energy of an abundant universe, and say, provide for me. What would you have for me? What would you choose? You don't have to tell me right away, but I'm open to listening. I'm open to hearing it. And when you tell me, I will know. And when I know, that's when I'll decide. And when I decide, that's when I move. And when I move, that's when it'll happen. Right? That's how we're going to operate from. LaDonna Wright says, yeah, Jess, but I'm tired of being the bigger person. LaDonna, you and me both. You and me both. This is the last thing I'm going to say because we are at an hour. I'm pretty sure this is one of the last things I'm going to say. But give me a hands up if you guys can relate to being the bigger person all the time. Can you guys relate to being the bigger person all the time? Some of you guys can't relate. Some of you guys simply refuse to be the bigger person. Some of you guys allow your ego to call the shots. But for those of us that say, listen, I'm always the one to make the decisions look at all those hands going up. Look at all those hands go. That's a lot of hands going up. And some of you guys need to be honest with yourselves. Are you really being the bigger person? Some of you guys are so exhausted with it, and that's okay too. It's really, look at all those hands going up. That's crazy. It's really important that if you are at that point, you don't have to show up for anyone. You don't have to show up for anyone. Sometimes you have to be the bigger person for yourself and just let their cards fall. Let the relationship crumble. Let them get in trouble. Their health will fail. They will lose their job. They will something, whatever it is, it's their karma. It can't be you swooping in all the time and being the bigger person and saving everyone and pulling everyone up. That is exhausting to you. Ask yourself in that moment, go tap into that Saturn energy. Ooh, Lisa is here. Tap into that Saturn energy and say, if Saturn was here right now, which he is, but you have to visualize it. Visualize this emotionally stoic, but very supportive, strong, protective force that says, my only responsibility is to make sure that Zena, thank you so much for the super chat. I love that hot pink. Oh my God, thank you. My only responsibility as Saturn is to make sure that Zena is protected, that Olivia is protected, that Lizette is protected, that Catherine is protected, that Maribel and Bianca from Wisdom and Light is protected with her emojis. I love you, girl. I'm going to text you later. That King Nazia is protected. That is the responsibility of Saturn, is to make sure that you're protected, but they can't do that. Saturn can't do that if you're fighting it, if you're resisting, if you're pushing away from him. He says, chill. It's like the energy of God. It's like the energy of the universe. It's like the energy of your spirit guides. It says, if you just stay still, if you trust me, I will do everything for you. Okay, so some of you guys, instead of being the bigger person all the time, allow the fate. They will learn. There could be losses, but there will only be gains. Pluto overlooks everything and says anything that was a loss comes over in another form. And it's not your duty, your responsibility to salvage it all. It's not your duty, your responsibility to fix it. Some people have to grow up. Some people have to find their own way. Okay? And their way doesn't mean that you pave it for them. They got to pave it for themselves, so the universe has to pay it for them. Let them do that. Jasmine says, I'm not that spiteful. That's not spite, honey. That's healthy boundaries. That's self-protection. That's self-preservation. You're not being spiteful by telling them that you have to find your way. It's like kicking the baby bird out of the nest and being like, it's time for you to fly. Because if you stay here, there's a hawk that's going to come through when you're not looking, when you're not observing, when you're waiting for me to bring you food, and it's going to come in and snatch your ass. Get out there and go mate with a random bluebird. All right, you guys. So that's my spiel. I'm closing my notebook so you know it's real. Okay. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. I do go live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want more, if you want to dive into the study of tarot, you can do that in the Sacred Circle Tarot School. I've been putting a lot of my energy and effort, of course, because I love that little sacred circle that I've created for all of us. Yes, I'm still, it's kind of like ongoing. What is on my hoodie? It's ongoing enrollment for now. And at some point, I'm going to pack it up and go on a summer hiatus. I haven't decided when that is. I'm going to be talking to the Sacred Circle. It's going to be months from now, probably 3 or 4 months from now. So if you're thinking about joining the Sacred Circle, it's forever. You know, it's not going to be closed. But we are going to take a summer vacation because I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to be working on some private, personal projects. And even if I was doing nothing, still taking some time off. I love you guys. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Make sure that, again, you are subscribed to the YouTube channel because I go live again every Monday. And I'm pretty sure I'll be seeing you guys next week. And if not, I'll announce it. But until then, be blessed. If you guys have any questions, send it over at info@BahatiLife, and I'll be more than happy to answer it for you. Me, most likely Eric, maybe Mel or Ashley. I'll see you guys later. I love you guys so much. And if you're not following me on Instagram, what is you doing? It's Bahati Life. I'll see you guys. Bye.